GM. What's going on out there? We got our coffee. We got our joint for the day. We're going to put the joint out. Time to get going. We're going to try not to smoke during streams going forward, even though it is our normal coffee and cannabis hour. Nobody's here in the beginning anyway. That's why we'll allow it to happen right at the beginning, my friend. S&P 500 flat on the morning. Qs flat to slightly down. We're in this weird part of the range here where we did not confirm a new top on the NASDAQ. We did on the SPY, but very quickly falling down to the 20-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is all the way down at 706. Yikes, scary. It wasn't that long ago that we were down at 700. Let's see what's happening in the news today. The UAE severs trade with Iran after reported missile strike. Whoa. The United Arab Emirates said it's paused all trade and financial transactions with Iran after reporting that 2 ballistic missiles were launched from the country towards its territorial waters. Both fell into the water, caused no damage or casualties. The UAE said on Wednesday, however, the reported strike represents an unwelcome return of conflict to the Gulf economy shores after more than 3 months. Weeks of Iranian drone and missile attacks on the UAE earlier this year, the vast majority of which were intercepted, sparked tension among locals and hammered the country's tourism and aviation industry. Nobody wants to go visit Dubai and spend money in their gigantic mall and building if there are bombs being dropped on them. The UAE said it's taken steps to identify, suspend trade in light of regional escalation that undermined regional and international peace. I mean, that's good. People are starting to understand that fighting isn't good for business. We all know the talk stalled, blah, 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 blah. Shipping traffic remains extremely low through the strait. An attack on a cargo vessel transiting the strait earlier this week killed a person. Iran has considered attacking U.S. military targets in Europe if the war escalates. How are they going to do that? How are they going to hit? Citing 2 regime insiders, U.S. assets in Bulgaria and Cyprus were weighed as potential targets. No shade to Bulgaria and Cyprus, but man, if you say you're going to hit like European military bases, I'm talking like UK, I'm talking Western Europe. Like, are you fucking hitting in Germany or Italy or the UK or France or Spain? Because then it's going down, dude. No offense to Serbia or Bulgaria. Sorry, Serbia, getting caught in the crossfire. Bulgaria and Cyprus. I'm sure they're great places and all, but it's probably way Eastern Europe, you know. This week, Trump has extended his verbal attacks to long-standing U.S. allies. On Monday, the president threatened to bomb the shit out of Oman if the Gulf nation gets in the way of its objectives in the Middle East. He also ordered Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to substantially reduce joint drills with South Korea, accusing Seoul of failing to help with its military operation in Iran and citing his friendly relations with North Korea Kim Jong-un. What? We're friends with Kim Jong-un, dude? And you wanted South Korea to come help in the strait? Why? If they're, I mean, I guess they're probably buying oil out of the strait and probably should go help like everybody else, but yeah. Moderna Merck cancer vaccine shows promise in late stage trial. Moderna stock soars 100%. What the fuck? Bruh. What did I buy? What did I buy in the space? I have Merck. We got Merck up 7.6%. Love that. Love to see that. What is Moderna? mRNA vaccine. Oh, wow. Holy fucking shnikey balls. That's still not that far. 2021 was at 500. Wait, I remember when the mRNA vaccine and the run up from COVID and shit. Oh my god. Peaked at 384, dog. Interesting. Moderna, Merrick. Oh, isn't Merrick's the one I do have though, right? This is the one I do have. Yay, us! Yay! Oh, I'm so sorry. I just coughed without muting while clicking on the volume button, staring at seeing if it's peaking. I'm so sorry. At least I pulled the peak down. Merck down to 145. Love to see this. Moderna, Merck cancer vaccine shows a promise in late stage trials. Moderna stock soars 100%. An experimental personalized cancer vaccine from Merck, bow, and Moderna show positive initial results in its first ever late stage trial. Companies announced Wednesday, bringing them one step closer to filing for approval of the treatment option. The mRNA based shot, in combination with Merck's immunotherapy Keytruda, met key goals in the phase 3 trial in more than 1,100 patients with higher risk and advanced melanoma whose detectable cancer had been completely removed through surgery. Merck shares climbed more than 8% in pre-market trading, while Moderna stock soared about 100%. The size of those moves reflect the company's relative size entering Wednesday. Merck's market cap was around 333 billion. Moderna was only at 25 billion. So it's at 50 billion now. Combination regime met the main study goal of significantly extending the time patient lived without their melanoma returning, compared with Keytruda alone. The treatment also reduced the risk of the cancer spreading to distant parts of the body. Those results build on positive phase 2 trials data on the same regime earlier. The phase 3 study will continue to assess other outcomes, including the overall survival benefit of the regime. The drug maker plans to present the data at an upcoming international medical meeting, but it's unclear when they plan to submit the application for approval in the US. Could serve as a new treatment option for melanoma, which accounts for only about 1% of skin cancer, but causes the large majority of deaths among them. Most reoccurrences of melanoma develop in the first 2 to 3 years after initial treatment and removal. Melanoma patients are stuck having to deal with the new gravity of that diagnosis and then undergo uncomfortable treatment like surgery, worried about their cancer coming back. She called it very exciting that the therapy led to a clinically meaningful improvement. The standard of care for melanoma and was tolerated by patients. Side effects were similar to other vaccines that people typically get for other diseases. Wow. Validated a personalized treatment approach that Merck and Moderna have been developing for decades. Every tumor has a unique set of mutations, even among patients with the same type of cancer. Designed to target the specific mutations in each patient's tumor rather than using a one size fits all. The idea is to train the immune system to recognize and kill those unique cancer makers and then pair that response with Keytruda, which helps the body attack the cancer more effectively. Wow. In June, note ahead of the results, said the phase 3 results are a make or break event for Moderna stock. Analysts say the company's valuation already reflects expectation that of personalized cancer vaccines could eventually work across multiple types of cancer, not just melanoma. Studying the vaccine in several trials across other tumors such as non small cell lung cancer, bladder cancer, or retinal cell carcinoma. Wow, dude, that is crazy. That is definitely some crazy news. Cirrus, what's going on? What is going on? Why does it say I'm offline? Am I offline? Cirrus, are you out there? Hello, hello, hello. It says I am offline. Hopefully, I'm not. It says I'm offline on Twitch, but it says everything is streaming on Restream. Hopefully, we are there. He says, I hear you. Do you see me? Hopefully. Target hikes outlook as sales rebound and huge tariff refund boosts the bottom line. Nobody's stopping my wife from going to Target. U.S. retreat from global order eroding European competitiveness. Central bank boss warns. What? Car dealerships are relying more on parts and services? Like, yeah. Europe is facing an erosion of the conditions that historically drove the continent's growth, its top central banker warned Wednesday as she called on leaders not to repeat the mistakes made during the dot-com boom in the age of AI. She needs her pumpkin latte. For real, though. And the clothing shopping at Target, unreal, my friend. Speaking at the World Economic Forum International Business Council in Geneva, Switzerland on Wednesday, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde warned that the continent's post-war growth model is eroding and unlikely to return the form they once knew. Lagarde told an audience rested on three pillars: expanding global trade, manufacturing supported by access to cheap energy, and a stable, rules-based global order underpinned by a U.S. security umbrella. Oh! Oh! You need us! Literally, one of the three pillars that keeps you alive is us! That's fucking interesting! What a quote! Thanks for recognizing us. Maybe you guys should actually help securing yourselves. Huh. That's fucking funny. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. I really want to go hard into NLR. I've been watching, and this is partially because I'm just a crazy person in the world, but late at night, these are the things I watch. America's most important mega project, how the U.S. Space Force is actually used in wars today. I did not really watch this. Why the U.S. can't use its own uranium. Did watch this. Very interesting. I am so bullish on the future of nuclear energy and our needs for cheap energy to manufacture things. It has never been, and that is exacerbated by this uranium and nuclear story. Like, you can really tell the problem that's happened to Europe and America by the story of uranium and how we used to be the biggest producers of it, the biggest refiners of it, and we stopped. We stopped after the Cold War. We started buying from Russia and others, and we literally decimated an entire supply chain that we once had, and now we need. Because of AI and all the energy usage, we need some nuclear power. The power density in uranium is incredible, my friend. Retail investors aren't giving up on the AI trade, but they appear more cautious. We didn't even finish this, did we? We need to go back over here. I just got cut off by the energy thing. All three of those pillars are weakening today, Lagarde said. Last year alone, she said more than 2,500 trade restrictions were implemented globally. President Donald Trump tariffs. Tariff rate was later reduced to 15, two sides agreeing on a deal. Maybe if you guys would help with the latter part in securing the world, we would fucking lower the tariff altogether. More broadly, Lagarde said in Wednesday's speech, America's pullback from leading Western security was adding further pressure to the Europe economy. No, really? That past environment allowed European supply chains to deepen and enable firms to organize investment around efficiency rather than resilience. Today, that global order is under pressure. Geopolitical tensions are bringing critical dependencies and choke points into sharper focus, while Europe faces growing security threats on its doorstep. Is it that nations get so big and stretched thin and greed comes in, capitalism, people wanting to make money? Like, I try to think back of like when Rome fall, or, you know, like other big civilizations fell, Egypt and others. Was it the fact that everybody got too fat and happy and stopped actually making anything, and then they blew themselves up when the other people making things were able to overtake them when a technology shift happens? Like, did America get too fat and happy from the Industrial Revolution and not pivot. Wait, but then we stopped building the things and we pivoted into online and stuff. I think this is just, I don't know. It's an interesting thought process there. Today, the global order is under pressure. Trump has long rebuked America's European allies for not spending enough on defense, with his administration issuing threats to withdraw from military alliances, even bringing NATO territory under Washington's control by force. Are they talking about Greenland? Meanwhile, Russian aircraft have increasingly encroached on European airspace, and the U.S. Iran war has weighed on the continent's economy, raised new security threats for the region. Oh, you guys have to secure your shit now. As the world has become less secure, Lagarde said on Wednesday, capital flows into Europe have been put at risk. When economic dependencies can be weaponized, or when perceptions of deterrence weaken, concerns about resilience enter economic decisions directly. Then they see it as less safe, weighing on the output and consumption. Taken together, these shifts suggest that Europe's post war growth model is eroding and it's unlikely to return. AI warning. What are we warning about? What are we warning about AI? Looking ahead, substantial strength to build on, including the world's largest network of trade agreements, world class manufacturing capabilities, the EU's massive single market. However, she issued a warning to the region not to repeat the dot-com era mistakes with the AI revolution. Europe largely missed out on the first digital revolution as the commercial gains from the spread of information and communication technologies were captured disproportionately elsewhere. We cannot afford to repeat that experience with artificial intelligence, the second digital revolution. Wow, saying the exact opposite. They'd rather grow with the bubble and blow up than not be a part of it at all. Interesting take. Very interesting take. Europe's tech sector has long been dwarfed by that of the US. Europe's 34 most valuable listed tech companies have a combined market capitalization of 1.5 trillion US dollars. The so-called Magnificent Seven stocks have a combined market value of more than 23 trillion. Oh my God, that's an ass kicking, 20x almost. Oh my God. Well, Lagarde told WEF's Council Wednesday there are already encouraging signs European firms are investing in AI. Whether Europe can create the conditions for that investment to spread on scale. EU Inc., an optional EU-wide corporate legal form that would allow companies to incorporate once and then operate under a single set of rules across the EU. That's interesting. We already have many of the ingredients for stronger long-term growth. Turning European size into European scale would help innovate firms grow at home, allow new technologies to spread faster and boost productivity in doing so, and it help make domestic demand more lasting engine of growth. Interesting. I think that is a good point to bring up. Europe was also guilty of protectionism when it comes to trade. The internal market within Europe is free, but trading into Europe is very far from free and it's a very protectionist environment. Going to play in the new world. Competition from China and the likes who have moved way up the value chain with regards to manufacturing is a real challenge. Fundamental changes, both political and economics, are required if Europe is going to break free from the sort of stasis it's been in for a decade. Interesting. I think both US and Europe are realizing that, not going to lie. Retail investors are not giving up on AI. We are just letting go of the leverage. They appear more cautious. What do you mean more cautious? Retail investors aren't giving up on artificial intelligence trade. They're getting selective and adding downside protection as markets head into the fall. Investors are using put options and inverse ETFs to hedge risk while still positioning for upside in individual technology stocks. Put options give the holder the right to sell an asset, blah, 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 blah. We know what that is. Retail investors are selectively trading in the classic AI theme, but also adding downside protection via options and inverse ETFs. Retail flows look very different now compared with prior years. This is interesting. Previously, retail bought any major dips almost without question. However, this year we're seeing a more selective retail investor that's either switching between stocks quickly or buying underlying stocks while also buying protective puts. Put buying of the top 12 retail favored stocks in 2026 has almost doubled versus the first quarter. Despite an overall reduction in cash purchases of stocks, put buying went up 110% from about 26% of net cash buying, even as outright stock purchases have declined. Interesting. The strategist said the growth of ETF strategies include levered vehicles has led to different kinds of risk-taking appetite from retail cohorts. Flows into ETFs signal a trend to reduce outright exposure, rather than just an uptick in downside hedges. Buying both bullish and bearish tech ETFs, including leverage funds, has declined. Bullish activity fell sharp. Now, I wonder, tech bear, tech bull, I wonder, is the amount of money flowing out, like is retail flowing out at all, or are they just changing what they do with the money in the system? Appear to be adding downside protection, though, puts on individual stocks and inverse ETFs for broader market exposure while also cutting their long positions. The reduction in long exposure may be a function of a broader profit taking after years of successful buy the dip strategies, or it could be a sign retail investors choosing to take increased risk via more speculative stocks, levered ETFs, and betting sites. Hmm. Many investors are still buying and positioning for further upsides. Schwab investors continued to buy in July despite a choppy market. The index rose to 59, just barely. Net buyers, seeing more than two buyers for every seller. Okay. Wow, it's only 8:30. It's early. Many tech stock pullback traders appear more willing to buy the dips and name with sharper moves while showing less interest in stocks that remain range bound. Oh, I'm sore from working out. Nvidia, which was sore as hell, dude. A good sore. Good type of sore. We need to be this type of sore. We need to be this sore more often. Told CNBC the firm saw modest pickup in put buying on the QQQ during the week of August 7th. Schwab investors continue to sell puts on individual AI linked stocks as Nvidia, Micron, and SanDisk, taking advantage of elevated options premiums while buying lower cost QQQ puts to hedge some of their broader tech exposure. Interesting trade there. That is an interesting trade. You could probably get higher premium on the individual stocks and then buy the QQQ put to kind of hedge it with the premium you receive. That's an interesting fucking trade right there. I kind of want to look into that. But he said while the hedging pickup is noticeable, it's not dramatic. Put selling and call buying, so they're trying to position themselves for an additional rally. Call option gives the investor the right to buy, blah, blah, blah. We know that. A hedge or directional bet. Inverse and leverage ETFs, blah, blah, blah. Many advanced investors continuously evaluate both market opportunities and portfolio risk, adjusting exposures and strategies as market conditions, investment themes, and their own objectives evolve. For example, some may use options or other advanced strategies to help manage portfolio risk or express a market view based on expected price movements. Interesting to like hedge my portfolio with a tiny QQQ put and just, you know, if things fall, I'm not hurting as much. Continued interest in leverage and inverse ETFs. While these products could be viewed as portfolio hedging, they're frequently used by active traders to make directional bets on expected market movements. Should carefully consider the objectives, risk, general short term nature of the products. Yeah, definitely not touching any leveraged ETFs myself. About an hour till market open. Not sure if anybody's out there, but appreciate it. It is early, 8:30 a.m. I know we are the super early stream guy compared to most others out there. Lowe's gives a muted outlook as it sees pressure in home improvement spending. Didn't we just fucking read an article about Home Depot yesterday saying things were looking good? Amazon drone service to reach nearly 500 cities in pursuit of 1 million deliveries in 2026. Weakening the greenback, dude. These are the articles that start to send Bitcoin to the moon. I have been through this a few times now. And when subjects like like the weakening dollar, national debt, government spending, inflation start to be in the news. BTC shines. Dollar sign BTC shines bright. This is the awakening of a new bull market. Need to actually post the article, right? Wishing you an amazing day. Hey, Arcane. Whoa, is somebody out there watching on the Twitter space? Growing fiscal risk, softer economic data, and uncertainty overall Federal Reserve policy could intensify pressure on the U.S. dollar despite recent strength, according to current strategists. Higher U.S. bond yields have helped support the dollar in 2026 by attracting more capital inflows into dollar assets. The U.S. dollar index tracked the performance of the greenback against six major global currencies: the euro, the pound, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, the Canadian dollar. The benchmark's up 1.15% year to date, notching a 52-week high. The index registered 99.4 as of ET on Wednesday. Higher treasury yields do not necessarily support the dollar if investors believe the increase reflects fiscal risk, heavier government borrowing, or persistent inflation rather than stronger U.S. growth or tighter Fed policy. A higher yield generated by stronger economic fundamentals is not necessarily equivalent to a higher yield generated by larger risk premium. That distinction may help explain why higher treasury yields have recently coexisted with less convincing dollar strength. This is interesting. This goes against what Josh and Michael Batnick were saying on their stream the other day. They were looking at treasury yields over time. Look at this, all time, 19 fucking 81. People were paying 15 fucking percent. Could you imagine if your mortgage was at 15%? My house would be worth like $10. I'm trying to think. Like literally my house would have to be worth like 100 G's or like 50 grand or something. Like this would be insane. And so we've climbed out of this pit, and what the guys were arguing on the podcast I watched yesterday, was it yesterday? Was it last night? Yeah, Treasury yield bonds break 19-year high. Copy, paste. And they were saying, oh, this doesn't look unhealthy. People are getting paid more for their thing, but it's not crazy. We're only at 5%. Like, you need to get paid if you're going to hold risk over 10 years or 30 years or something like that. And we're not going too high here. We're kind of like flattening out in this 5, 4 to, top high fours, low fives range here. We've started to kind of flatten, although it does look like we still going up, my guy. But we've been up here for a while. We've been in the high fours for a while. We did just crank above 5.25. I mean, that's a fucking lot. Not gonna lie. But it's not crazy yet. And if we could just stay in a range up here, it might be interesting. But I think they're thinking about it is by it's a higher yield generated by stronger economic fundamentals. I think it's more of a larger risk premium, if that makes any sense. Global bonds sold off this week with the U.S. 30-year Treasury yield reaching its highest level since 2007. For international investors, U.S. assets have benefited from years of both strong underlying returns and a strong dollar. If that relationship becomes less consistent, geographic diversification may matter more. Interesting, interesting. Gotta call old Dougie back here in a minute. Let's see what's up. My guy, how you doing?
Doing good. Just getting back in the groove of things today. We got back from vacation. Was that late Monday night?
Yeah, I saw the photos of the group on the beach, man. Looked like you guys were having an epic time.
It was a great time, dude. Great group of people. The weather was good. It was hot as shit, but
I saw old Daniel Stew out there and stuff.
yeah, old Stu, man. Got to hang with old Stewie.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, they got a little girl. She's a couple years older than Luke, but all the kids got along and had a fun time.
Had a great time at the beach. That's what's up.
Right on the beach, dude.
That's what's up. I can't wait. Little dude's finally maybe getting there.
I think he's ready to play in the sand, dude.
Yeah, he definitely is.
That's what's up, man. Well, get it on the books. I'm ready when you are.
Hell yeah, maybe we'll have to do something next year.
Fuck yeah.
Or in the
Yes.
or in the winter.
Yep. What you guys been up to?
Oh, just cranking away, dude. Working hard, getting stuff done. Trying
That's good.
trying to
That's
lock
good.
in some big deals. We're close. We're close.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get something locked in here. We got a big meeting on Friday. I think we're going to. It just takes time to close big deals. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude.
But we're close. We got a big meeting on Friday. We're working our way to it, and once we get that done, we're gonna be chilling.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's what's up.
And
Dude,
Wes is out in San Fran.
you're leaving for San Fran?
I don't leave until the 30th, so I got like 10 more days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then I guess is that when my mom's coming to town?
I think she's coming into town this weekend.
This weekend.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe she'll come back then. I don't know. I'm sure Dee Dee's gonna ask her to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought she said she was gonna try to get her to come when you were out of town.
Yeah, I think she'll probably ask her this weekend to come back. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in 2 weeks. It's in a week anyway.
Yeah. Just gotta go up. I guess it's all up to Uncle Rich.
Yep.
She lets him rule the coop when she's the oldest of the siblings. Gotta love that.
You got this. Dougie's gonna correct it. I'm confident.
Oh, something needs to happen. weekend or?
Yeah, I think it was just for the weekend or something. And then, yeah, and then were we gonna go down with you to the lake next weekend or something?
This weekend?
I don't know. Dee Dee mentioned the lake too, but I could be all confused. Maybe her mom, maybe Deb's coming next weekend. I don't know, dude. I'll talk to Dee Dee and I'll text you because now I'm confusing myself.
I think you're right. Natalie texted me and said my mom was going to be here this weekend.
Okay.
But we're all going to the lake, and I asked her, I said, do you want to come down to the lake? You haven't been to the lake in a while. And she was like, I'm not sure. I think she wanted to see what you guys wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
So let's, maybe we need to have a little group text or meeting or call this evening and try to get locked down our plans.
Yeah, let's jump on a call or maybe let's meet for dinner. Something simple for dinner or something.
All right. What do you got? You guys want to meet for dinner tonight, you said?
We're down.
All right.
I mean, I'm saying that without approval, but
yeah, no doubt. Luke has karate tonight, but we could.
Oh yeah, it's Wednesday.
We could eat after that if it's not too late.
Yeah, like 6 or 7. What time do you get out? Like 6?
Classes from 6 to 6:30.
Oh, a little 6:30 dinner.
You guys might be able to cruise over, catch the tail end of the class, and then maybe we can go to Mexican or something.
Yeah, dude, Miles watching that would be hilarious. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Luke would be stoked to see you guys.
That would be tight. Maybe we'll do. All right, I'll talk to Dee Dee at lunch, and we'll see what's up, and I'll shoot you a text.
All right, sounds good, brother.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, cool, dude. I'll talk to you later.
See you, brother.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Sorry, that was my brother-in-law. Fucking awesome. Need to get some shit done at my house. He's helping me correct a problem these contractors fucked up. Time to get them out of there. Sorry about that. Way the fuck off. Soft U.S. consumer inflation employment data have caused investors to release expectations. U.S. economy has shown resilience, but Fed rate pricing underpins the dollar, blah, 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 blah. Long dollar positions are now being cut back in thin summer market. So the fundamental justification for holding them fades, leaving it drifting into unspiraling 95 to 100 range for the rest of the year. Mixed Fed signal. Chair Kevin Warsh over the central bank's inflation target and toolkit, adding he views the ambiguity ultimately as dollar negative. We have not boarded the dollar bullish train this year because global growth has been resilient. Geopolitical developments pose continuous challenges to dollar dominance, and the Fed has been ambivalent on its what the fuck is this? Ambivalent? Why do I want to say that? It doesn't read like the way it says.
Ambivalent.
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 Ambivalent. The Fed has been ambivalent on its reaction function to inflation, so it's done both things. In a note on the U.S. recent history, U.S.-Japan convened to support the yen, allows approved foreign central banks and other monetary authorities to temporarily exchange U.S. Treasury securities for dollars. Whoa, Treasury, now what is this? Just hit. Treasury announces upscale buyback operation for longer-term debt, sending yields lower. What is happening? What? Yields are going lower. The market's about to rage, right? Yup, the SPY already jumped. Oh shit, to the moon! Wendy's to the moon! Oh my god, we caught it as breaking news after the phone call. Treasury announces upscale buyback operation for long-term debt, sending yields lower. Treasury data shows foreign purchase of U.S. stocks hit $920 billion in the 12-month period in June, more than triple that for the Treasuries, which stood at $294 billion. The dollar is increasingly vulnerable to an equity market correction as foreign investors unwind their U.S. stock holdings. Said a broader stock market sell-off may encourage foreign investors to instead rotate back into the safe haven treasuries. Interesting. Interesting. I don't think we want to see that. Very interesting. The market's popping off the news. What time is it? 8:52, right before 9 a.m. We fucking let it rip, baby. ETH up a point. Dude, I have a feeling that crypto's about to fucking just absolutely tear north. Like, this is exactly why. This is exactly why. Looking for a CMO, VP level solo marketer for a new Solana startup being spun out of a large TradFi co. The ask is for someone professional that can dress up nicely, but also unhinged and creative, US based only. Paul, recruiter for Solana. You could hire an agency. We love pushing founders out of their comfort zone. This is where growth happens. Wes is here
Really
somewhere.
nerve-wracking because we all got up on stage and did a 2.5-minute pitch in front of the managing director of Draper here, Azra Nadir. Thankfully, we got to meet her last night at the dinner, but there were definitely nerves in the room. And each one of us got up on stage and did our pitches and got critical feedback right after as well. So we've got a lot of work to do. All of us do, really. So, some people nailed it. Some projects absolutely nailed it. It was obvious that they were going through.
Some people nailed it, and he shows Wes on stage. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's fucking go, baby. Some people nailed it.
This process before and knew exactly what they're doing. But me, myself, I was very last and I was so nervous, watching everyone else. But I think going last had an advantage because I could pick up on things that people were saying, listen to the feedback, and I was changing my pitch and proposal throughout that session. So as people were going up to go, oh, that was fantastic. I love that. That was a brilliant idea. I love how that was presented. I pick and chose a couple of things and changed my presentation on the fly. So I think that was a little bit advantageous for me, but definitely nervous throughout the whole process. But we all got some really good feedback. And when we go through our pitching sessions in front of Tim himself and his Draper Associates, that's where things really matter. And that'll be in a couple of weeks' time. So really looking forward to that. And I have to thank Azra for sharing her knowledge about how the VC world actually works. The amount of money that we're being given for the initial seed is just the beginning, but there is so much more to go after this because they give us the initial seed, they're expecting a return. And Azra revealed to us what the VC space is actually expecting when it comes to that return. And it was, for me, it was quite eye-opening. I didn't realize how all those aspects actually worked, what type of return they expect on their investment. And really, not all of the companies that they invest in give them a return. But there is that expectation of trying to reach the next level of funding to create a higher valuation for the company. And everyone goes on for the ride in the next phase. So it was really eye-opening to hear all that and get an understanding of how all that works and how the VC space works in general. So Azra, so thankful for you being here and teaching us and taking us through that.
That is very interesting because that is the goal here. And to comment on like us and Rare Network and nVent here, and the reason we're there is we have been a business where Wes and I are 50-50 in this thing. We've never raised money from anybody at this time, and there's never been enough money put in front of us that actually makes it work. And the scare here going through Draper University at first is this first little tiny seed investment. Teeny, tiny seed investment here is it's not enough it doesn't even pay the costs of going through Draper U, let's say that. So the goal has to be larger investment, larger rounds later. You know what I mean? And we're not giving up much. In fact, we're not giving up anything right now. We haven't signed shit to go through this. But it is a lot on our end, and the faith is that we become one of those that make it to those next rounds if that makes sense.
part of the process. So I think that was one of the really big things of today's session. The other big part of the session today was a presentation from David Bland. And he is a co-author of a brilliant book, Testing Business Ideas. And this idea and concept of testing your ideas, testing the concepts before taking it to the build phase, I think is really critical. Now, I can't go through the particular content of the presentation, the workshop that he did, but I can draw on some other very similar experiences in my own business in the web design and development space. So when you're building a product for your business, we're looking at new ideas and products that we could sell our customers, but we don't know if customers actually want exactly that. So what we do to test that is we build up landing pages and we feed traffic to those particular landing pages, either through pay-per-click advertising through Google, Facebook ads, or just organic SEO. And if we find that there is significant search volume for that particular product, then we start systemizing everything. We build a product behind it, and then we start a sales funnel so we can actually drive sales to that particular landing page, generate the sales because we have validated the idea, I think is the really important bit. So David gave us a full framework that he came up with in the book, and he gave us that framework so we could understand and better test all of ideas and assumptions in regards to our business. So that was an absolutely brilliant presentation by David, and I'm so thankful for that presentation as well. So day 2 is now over. We've got a lot of work to do to
Oh, sorry, I was muted there. That's pretty sweet. Pete is awesome. I put him in the chat in the Twitch here. People should definitely give Pete a follow. He is following along as he is in the Draper University program that Wes and we are in as well. So it was cool to see Wes in that video. Awesome to see him say some pitches actually kill it, and then you see Wes. So cheers for that. That was fucking sweet to see. Not gonna lie. They're more of a story here, finally. Okay, Treasury Department on Wednesday said it will more than double the size of its government debt repurchases, sending yields lower. With fixed income markets under pressure, yields surging to levels not seen in nearly 20 years, the announcement targets a sensitive part of the Treasury market. Under the accelerated buyback, Treasuries will target 10 to 20-year and 20 to 30-year portions of the market, which has seen buyers strike since late June. The government will at least double the maximum size of its buyback operation from $2 billion to at least $4 billion. Yields cratered following this announcement. 10-year note fell 6 basis points. The 30-year bond tumbled 9 basis points. The 10-year note is what your mortgages are based on. And what these are is where the expected price would be in 10 years from now is what you're buying. Or 30 years from now for the 30-year, obviously, or the 1 year is 1 year, etc. Very, very interesting stuff. Amazon to expand drone services nearly 500 cities after targeting 1 million deliveries. Dude, when am I going to see a drone fly over my fucking house? Amazon said Wednesday it plans to offer drone deliveries in nearly 500 U.S. cities and towns by the end of the year, a sign of momentum for projects that have been slow to develop since founder Jeff Bezos first laid out his vision for the service 13 years ago. Did Jeff Bezos really in 2013 get on stage and talk about drone deliveries and shit? I believe it. I totally believe it was like in the dreams of science fiction. The planned expansion for Prime Air would represent a 6-fold increase from its current footprint, the company said in a blog post. Vice President of Prime Air spoke confidently about the program, laid out ambitious growth plans. It's an internal all-hands meeting. How is, like... I think about this often with airplanes specifically. Like, how does the FAA... And I watched a video on the Space Force last night, and it kind of gave me answers to it. It's so weird to say Space Force. It sounds like I'm in a fucking Spaceballs movie or something like that. But like the different planes of altitudes, and like which direction things fly on those planes, and how spaced out things are, and like You know, how do helicopters and airplanes take off in between this like web of fucking drones flying around on the fucking ground and shit like that. You know, because like the landing like pattern for like, let's just say CVG, my international airport that I fly in and out of all the time. I fly over our whole fucking city as we come down, you know what I mean? As we're descending. So like how does that all work when in the era of drones and air taxis and shit? You know what I mean? Projected all-time Prime Air will make 1 million deliveries this year, highest demand drone delivery service in the industry. Well, yeah, because people use fucking Amazon. 100,000 deliveries so far this year and makes thousands daily. Bezos, who stepped down as CEO 5 years ago, damn, I didn't even know that. This dude is living his best life. He is jacked up. He's got a plastic Barbie next to him. He's fucking living on the yacht and shit. He's partying in Miami and stuff. This dude doesn't even care what happens to Amazon anymore. Build a network of drones to deliver small packages in 30 minutes or less. Since then, the he's fucking on every GLP-1 they fucking got out there. He's on the fucking China fresh batch, dude. He's sending the yacht to go pick it up, dude. Since then, the program has faced regulatory delays, staff cuts, and pushback from communities. Why is that? 2024 received critical green light for long-range drone deliveries. Over the past year, it's expanded beyond initial markets near Dallas and Phoenix to 11 metro areas. Residents in some of the markets continue to raise concerns about drone noise and privacy and how these issues could hurt property values. That is interesting. If you lived, very interesting. I am like, I don't know, 5 miles, less than 5 miles from like an Amazon fucking warehouse, which I'm sure most people are in a major city like I am. Like, I guess as you get closer to that drone distribution point, like, or would you hear the whizzing of drones coming over your house all the fucking time? You know, that's interesting, and I didn't think about that. Amazon's hoping it can, and maybe that's something humans just have to get fucking used to. Because like it ain't gonna stop. Amazon's hoping it can transform drone delivery from a futuristic concept to a critical piece of speedy delivery playbook. After getting shoppers hooked on a free 2-day delivery, the company has moved to 1 day and increasingly same day while testing out ultra fast models in more pockets of the US. Most Prime Air packages arrive in about 60 minutes, but the company says it has completed some drone deliveries in as little as a few minutes after checkout. That's the guy who lives right next to the fucking thing, though. Customers continue to demand faster delivery times. Dude, if you could get it tomorrow, you'll be fucking fine, dude. Same days is getting insane. Bottom line is we have yet to reach diminishing returns when it comes to how fast we deliver to our instantly. I want a 3D printer on my desk that just fucking zaps shit in. I click it, it's here. I just pull it out of the fucking machine. That's where we're gonna go to. In a nascent space, but one where Amazon faces competition, Google Wing crosses 1 million commercial drone. Wait, what? Google's doing that? Through partners like Walmart, DoorDash, drone delivery startup Zipline, and DoorDash because Zipline's something separate. 2 million deliveries. Amazon drones are capable of delivering packages up to 5 pounds within a 7.5-mile radius of its facility. The company has recently expanded a number of its items eligible for delivery by integrating its drone operation into some robotic sort centers, which are large and store more products than the same-day delivery hubs where drones have historically been housed. Wider assortment of projects like fragile cartons of eggs or other perishables. Gentle delivery options with some customers that use a retractable tether to lower packages to the ground. The current method involves releasing packages from a 13-foot drop. Wait, what? So you're saying this drone is gonna fly in front of my fucking house and be literally a story and a half up and just drop some shit in my yard? What if it hits my dog or my child or crushes some bushes, my landscaping and shit? 13 feet. 13 feet doesn't sound that fucking graceful at all, but I guess where are power lines? Like, how does it move for power lines, cars, people? Uh, Wing and Zipline use tethered delivery. I kind of think tethered delivery is better. October, where two Amazon drones collided with a crane. Dude, the crash has prompted an investigation which remains in progress from the NTSB. According to the agency's website, a probe by the FAA. At the time, we were detecting these cranes above the industry standard. We trained our algorithms. We felt pretty good, but we found in the real world the performance just wasn't good enough. And let me tell you, that was a humbling experience. I mean, this is definitely going to happen for these to learn, right? Company faced another FAA probe for one of its drones in November, snapped an internet cable while ascending from a customer's yard in Wake. Yeah, like power lines and internet lines and shit. Its challenges aren't limited to the U.S. UK's Air Incident Investigation Branch opened a probe last month after a Prime Air drone crashed in a garden in Darlington, England. The company told BBC it believed one of its drones came into contact with an object extending above the roof of a moving vehicle. Wait, what? One of its drones came into contact with an object extending above the roof of a moving vehicle? How is it that fucking close to a moving vehicle? Like what? Somebody had like a roof rack or like something like I'm just trying to envision like how close the drone got to the car, even if the drone was within 5 feet. Like if you had something 5 feet tall and you put it on the roof of a car or a truck or some shit, and the drone was still within 5 feet of the car, moving car or truck, why is it that fucking close? Its drone operated as designed, made a safe landing. No injuries were reported. Interesting. Scary as fuck. Scary as fuck. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Buyback operation, dude. The Govy saving the day. Trump coming in here and gold going up. Dude, Bitcoin's about to fly. The Bitcoins are about to fly. The corn is about to fly. And same with ETH. Get corn here. Get your corn. Corn here. Wait. Is this not the right article I want? Oh, yeah, they changed it. Get your gold, get your corn. Get your gold, get your corn. What's in the crypto news today? If it doesn't fucking say Bitcoin to going to 200,000, I don't know what to tell you. Beyond crypto funding rates, Athena diversified USD backing with 1 billion in Falcon X facility. Bitcoin is flashing 8 of 12 capitulation signals, but bottom's not in yet, says Van Eyck. Bye, Van Eyck. Yikes. Bitcoin's flashing warning signs. Signals tracked by Van Eyck. All 12 hit those levels of the past 3 months, according to the asset manager's mid Bitcoin chain check. Signals measure things that reach extremes when selling is heaviest. So readings is less encouraging when 8 to 12 in the indicators flashing historically. Bitcoin's returned an average of 12.8% over the following 90 days, and 32. Both are below its broader historical averages of 15 and 36. But it still says they have a good return of 12% over the following 90 days? Wait, what? Calendar fits past bear markets. Van Eyck counted 4 completed cycles since 2011 with peak to trough declines averaging 11 months. 10th month in its decline from October 2025 peak in August. Miners are feeling it most. Money has come back in another way through funds. However, U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange traded products, a category in which Van Eyck runs its own HODL ETF, took about 663 million over the previous 30 days. Damn. What is old Wendy's at? I kind of want to take my money and buy a whole bunch of BMNR fucking long dated calls again, dude. BMNR. Where are we at here? Wow, only at 1858 is crazy to me. I feel like this is such a deal right now, dude. I feel like this is a steal. Interesting chat. Interessante. Very bullish that this rips to fucking 69K, 70K, dude. That's my bet for real here. I think we are about to see a crypto renaissance off the bottom like never before fucking seen. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Dang, it's already 9:13, which is crazy. 5 viewers out there. What's good? Right before the morning open, the SPY is looking up. QQQ's up. We're gonna buy all the treasuries in the world. Stock futures jump as treasury action relieves the bond market pressure. Let's fucking go. The Dow Jones added 305 points, 0.6%. NASDAQ also gained. Yields on the long end of the Treasury curve plummeted after the Treasury Department said Wednesday that it's going to at least double the size of its government debt purchases. Moderna's cranking as a winner, dude. Moderna up 100%. What is Honeywell Aerospace? What? What's going on here? Honeywell Aerospace? Look at how nice these jets are. What is going on here? What do we got here? An Embraer flight test aircraft, Falcon 900 flight test aircraft are on display at the Honeywell Aerospace hosts a media tour of their facility ahead of their investor day. What does this mean? Honeywell Aerospace is looking very cheap, so it's a good time to scoop up its shares. According to Morgan Stanley, the investment bank upgraded the aerospace name to overweight from equal weight. Price target of 205 a shares, implying 28% upside from Tuesday's close. Fundamental concerns have not disappeared. HONA screens toward the lower end of the peers. Honeywell Aerospace. And EBITDA growth, margin expansion is limited. Free cash flow trails its peers. Low next generation commercial content could constrain long-term aftermarket opportunities. We believe the valuation now more than compensates for the risks. Discount to its peers in our view, but not the 35% discount reflected today. Shares of Honeywell Aerospace has fallen roughly 24% in the past month. The company was spun from Honeywell in late June as the supply chain issues have stymied its operations? Stimid? What the fuck is this goddamn word? People probably watch my stream just to fucking hear me struggle.
Stymie.
As supply chain issues has stymied its operations. Okay. We're out here. Dude, Moderna stock soaring 90% is crazy. Our Merck investments up. We're fucking cranking here, dog. Getting all the money back from yesterday. Love to fucking see it. Love to see it. SPY up. The Qs are up. SPY and QQQI are still lagging. Is that because we like paid a dividend or something? Everything looking good. Our AbbVie and Merck are cranking. Our Merck is up 8%. Should have bought more. Feels bad, man. Oh no, we're just such a little nobody over here. We only own like a few shares. We're up 18% though, total return plus the dividends. Fucking love that. Love to see that. Wish we bought more. You're always going to wish you bought more in the good stuff though. I've definitely learned that. What else we got over here? I fucking hate the video that they put up. Like, that is so dumb. And I know it just probably gets them hella impression numbers to sell sponsors on. But, like, dude, it's fucking annoying. Not gonna lie. This is an interesting article. Year after losing 1.46 billion, Bybit says AI helped it save 700 million. The exchange that lost 1.46 billion to North Korean hackers is the first large centralized firm to put numbers on a claim Bitcoin developers have been making all month. Oh, I can't even imagine $1 billion. Like, that seems like too much. People are becoming trillionaires too, by the way. Like, it's honestly not even that much money in the grand scheme of things anymore, which is even more sickening because I live in the realm of hundreds of dollars. Like, how do I pay for dinner or get groceries or pay my mortgage that is in the low, very, very low single digits of thousands of dollars? You know what I mean? And like bills that are under $1,000. Like, I can't fathom having bills that are millions and billions of dollars. And at that point, if you have $1 billion, like, what is going out to eat like this, like, things become like not real. Like, money isn't real anymore. Ian Am says this all the time. I'm starting to understand what he's saying. Money is not real. Oh my god, he's not even here today to see the realization. Crypto exchange Bybit said AI assisted auditing found high severity vulnerabilities at up to 5 times the rate of manual review, cutting the times between assessing systems and testing it for about 2 weeks to hours. Between January 1st, June 15th, the AI system also stopped more than 30,000 suspicious withdrawal requests, protecting close to 20,000 users from over 700 million in potential losses. The first review of a flagged withdrawal averages 4.7 minutes, the exchange said in a release shared to Coindesk. Interesting. There's a reason the exchange is publishing figures like these. In February 2025, it lost roughly 1.46 billion in the largest theft in crypto's history. North Korea's Lazarus Group. Oh my god, whoever hit that lick is eating so good in North Korea. He has a seat right next to Kim Jong Un. He is the head of fucking tech and hacking. He has now been promoted to super manager. It's now pursuing legal action against the state and the group. Potential losses are withdrawals. Bybit says it stopped rather than thefts that were definitely underway. AI has also flagged 212 million in funds it linked to fraud and blacklisted more than 10,000 addresses, the company said, through the figures cannot be verified independently. The firm's automated red team system scanned 1,400 public facing assets in the period and turned up more than 100 high severity flaws. The time between finding an asset and testing it fell below 24 hours. More than 100,000 security alerts were processed with AI assistance over that period. Holy shit. suffered an attack that drained merchant Lightning nodes, said AI is changing the balance between attackers and defenders. Artificial intelligence models make it faster and cheaper to search large code bases for weaknesses, and attackers, are especially state-sponsored teams, may be able to call on greater financial resources. Dozens of crypto-aligned firms, including Coinbase, Block, signed an open letter asking AI labs for early access to their strongest models, arguing defenders are working with weaker tools than the people attacking them. Separately, a volunteer group calling itself the Bitcoin Red Team has spent the month pointing AI models at Bitcoin code bases and filing thousands of findings across hundreds of projects, including a report that helped BTC Pay patch its weakness. Wow. They cannot pay for. What do you mean models they can't pay for? Coinbase and Block doesn't have enough money to pay for their fucking AI? What are we talking about? It's been running on donated compute and sponsored accounts. Build its own tooling, and its numbers are the first look at what the costs and caches are. The cybersecurity arms race has entered an era of minutes. Using AI strengthen our security and risk control capability while securing the AI system themselves is our top priority, with human judgment remaining at the center of critical security decisions. Interesting. That is a fucking interesting article. Nobody watches my stream, but it's a fucking interesting article. Definitely interesting. What else we got? Bitcoin holds steady, bond yield surge. What are we talking about? The corn is about to break 65K again. ETH is up at 1937 and up 1%. Shit is flying. We're buying bonds. The QQQ is back up. The SPY is back up, nearing towards all-time highs. What type of article is this? Bitcoin stuck in a 6-week range as global bond yields hit highest level for decades. This is old. Get it out of here. This is what I was talking about. The Fed decision making comes into focus as Bitcoin holds steady, bond yields surge. Both of these out of here, gone. That's old news. As of 23 minutes ago. Bitcoin takes aim at, there we go, updated 4 minutes ago. Robot maker Unitree's IPO surge 600%, outpacing crypto traders' pre-market bets. Wow. This is interesting. Are we talking like hyperliquid bets and shit? Crypto traders spent the day before Unitree's robotic Shanghai listing, pricing the company at more than 4 times its IPO valuation. The stock opened even higher. Wow. Oh, I watched an interview on the All In podcast from the Unitree founder. Unitree, a Hang Zhao company that makes humanoid and 4-legged robots, opened at 1100 won. 163 Wednesday. 629% above its IPO price of 150 won. Wow, that's crazy. The first trade valued the company at about 445 billion, 66 billion US dollars. So the synthetic Unitree market running on Hyperliquid had traded around $92 to $94 last week, implying a valuation of near $38 billion. That put actual opening roughly 75% the price crypto traders had settled on before a single public share changed hands. Cash Shuttle bet on Unitree shares. The price doesn't give traders ownership in the company. It was listed outside developers XYZ Trade. Once the stock began trading, Unitree USDC was around 121 on Wednesday morning, up about 20% over 24 hours. After briefly trading above 140, trading volume reached 64 million, and open interest was worth about 29 million. Holy fuck. I mean, that's really not that big, though, when it comes to like traditional market size, but that's still a very big fucking market. This is the second big test of the summer for crypto markets to put a price on a company before Wall Street or another stock exchange gets the chance. SpaceX, they absolutely nailed SpaceX. The SpaceX market was much larger. Open interest on the Hyperliquid contract reached 216 million, like 10x larger. Holy fuck. 29 million. Unitree market itself warns traders about low liquidity, high volatility, and increased liquidation risk. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like if you were short when that came out, you got fucked. You got liquidated real fast. I wonder like where that's most useful for market makers. Like why would a big market maker that maybe want like they're betting long because they think it's priced too low, or are you giving liquidity to those that are you giving liquidity to those that already own the stock and need to like hedge in the market before the open? I'm just wondering like what brings market makers to go trade that market before the IPO is my question. Like large vast amounts of money. Was that a bunch of small retail money added up and it really wasn't like any big market maker coming in there until we got the real price, or is there a reason like why do real large market makers come play those markets versus already getting in private rounds earlier, um, and buying shares on secondary or whatever that may be, or waiting for the IPO open? Like, what is the incentive to trade those perp markets first? If that does that make sense? Nobody's watching anyway, so what does it matter? Damn, it's already about to be 9:30. Wow. Market's about to open. We are going to open higher on the government buying some bonds. You fucking love to see it. You love to fucking see it, chat. When people buy new cars, auto dealerships make money. When they don't, dealerships still find a way to make money. A dealership typically has found four profit streams: new vehicles, used vehicles, parts and services, and finance and insurance. Now, parts and service departments and finance and insurance packages are becoming more important sources of profit for car dealers as profit from new vehicle sales show signs of softening. The auto retailer remains one of the more attractive hedged business models. Why is that, Aaron Kerrigan? If you lose $10 of new vehicle revenue, you only have to pick up $1 of service to have your gross margin remain flat. It's 5% new car margin, 50% service margin. This is why dealerships were still profitable even in the financial crisis. GM, Chrysler, Stellantis went bankrupt. During the pandemic, new car prices soared due in large to tight supply. The average pre-tax profit per dealership more than tripled. Oh, that's right, when my wife had to buy a car. That's so bullshit. It's what we call the mass. We're at the weakest part of the auto sales right now. Mass affluent. Those who are the people that generally go off and lease the high-end Lexus. Everyone talks about the K-shaped economy in the car business. You're actually seeing relative strength in the lower part of the K because that's the need. The mid-level BMW 5 Series, that's the want. And you know the consumption can be postponed. Hmm. But people still need the low end. That's interesting. So it's like opposite. This is an interesting hedge. What a fucking weird thing to find for the portfolio. Since then, the 2022 peak average gross profits for dealerships owned by the public dealership group fell about 3.9 million. But over roughly the same period, the parts and services gross profit rose 3.3 million to 5 million in 2025. Finance and insurance, often abbreviated as F&I, often contributes an outside share of gross profits compared with revenue. Six publicly traded dealerships groups is only about 4% of revenues from January to June, but it made up 23% of the company's gross profit. Wow. So volume wise, they don't do that much dollars in volume, but it's a very profitable part of the business, obviously. Poo them. If you're spending 50,000 on a new car, a lot of people don't feel comfortable leaving that fully exposed, so they'll buy a bumper to bumper warranty or they'll buy a prepaid maintenance plan. Damn, that is true. People hedge their car purchase because it's so large. Dang, dealers versus chain service centers. Potential challenge to this: while service revenues and profits might be up in raw numbers, dealers are getting a smaller share of the pie. Yeah, like what stops somebody from going to a Jiffy Lube, a Meineke, or Walmart or something? From 2020 to 25, the share of customers who consider chain service centers grew from 20% to 42. A 22-point swing in 5 years does not happen by chance. There is a perception amongst consumers that dealers charge more for services than independent repair shops and chains, although some auto industry groups say the evidence supports the opposite. I don't believe that. I do believe that the perception is real that dealers charge more than going to my local tire discounters. I don't know why, but it's fucking true. The franchise dealers have come to realize the importance of service and parts. They are taking great effort to dispel that notion and try to become more competitive on pricing. They've all grown mid single digits since COVID. Part of that is due to elevated warranty and recalls, but also because of their efforts to become more competitive. I don't think they're becoming any more competitive at all, but the market is open. SPY is live. We've opened up. We're pulling back a little bit. The corn jumped over 65K, dude. Corn is about to fly. Corn is about to fly and suck all the wind out of the room. Solana up 2%, ADA just flat and not even, nobody cares. My God, that's so rough, dude. That's so rough. Bitcoin over 65. Gold flying. Gold is up 3 fucking percent on the news. Gold is flying, and that's what's. Bitcoin is going to follow gold between inflation, our debt. Oh my God. Where are we at here? Wen Lee, where are you at? I mean, come on, girl. We should be well above $9 at this point. Wen Lee should be flying, dude. Gravy, what's good? Gravy comes in after 9:30 a.m. Dude, you come in at the tail end. The tail end, my dude. We've done and gone through all the news. The market's already open. I gotta get to fucking work over here. I got emails to send and shit. You know what I'm saying? My dude's out here fucking coming in at the just super tail end. I work late a lot. Fair. I'm just giving you shit, Gravy. I'm just giving you shit. I just feel bad. I request an evening stream as well. Okay? You want some evening Fortnite streaming? You want an evening gaming stream, my friend? Is that what you're looking for? An evening gaming stream or something? It's not much news in the evening. I spend a lot of time with the fam, so it's like late night then if I do that. Like it's like 9 p.m. or later if I'm going to do that. But we could maybe fit one of those in for you, my friend. My friend! Oh my God, my friend, the Bitcoins are going to fly. The Ethereums are going to fly. Moderna and Merck, UAE, hedge funds are about to jump in big to prediction markets. Really? Really? Cantor Fitzgerald will be one of the first investment firms providing its clients institutional trading on prediction market platform Kalshi, the company announced Wednesday morning. Prediction markets are growing rapidly, but institution participation has not kept pace because investors have lacked the ability to transact at scale on a regulated exchange. The liquidity is here. Damn, the global investment firm will serve as a broker, meaning it will organize block trades on Kalshi's event contracts for its clients. Block trades are large and privately negotiated transactions that are typically executed outside of a public market to avoid price volatility. Wow. Susquehanna International Group will provide pricing and liquidity as a market maker in these trades with Cantor's clients. The company's head of business development sees institutional risk transfer as the next step for prediction markets. Have to make sure there's enough liquidity. This is super interesting. What a dude. Kalshi is killing the game. Kalshi is definitely killing the game. Big fan of what They're doing. Big fan of Brian Quintes, who came to our event. Dude was a G. Weekly mortgage demand stalls along with interest rates, but rates are now moving higher again. No, they're not. Rewrite that. Rewrite that now. Yields pull back after the Treasury Department says it will double government debt repurchase. Dude, I'm all in on olive oil lately. I think I have a bottle of this upstairs. Shares of Spain's Dolio jumped over 20% on Wednesday afternoon amid intensifying takeover battle for the world's largest olive oil bottler and marketer. Mid reports, the Spanish agri-food cooperative Decoop has offered $470,545 million multinational takeover race that includes Italian, French, and Australian firms. Damn. I don't think they do, Gravy. I don't think I do, and the reason is because I play music in the pre-stream and I would be getting strikes and not able to fucking stream. It would ban my stream from all the music I play in the beginning of my stream. Is why I stopped. I don't allow the VODs anymore. The sale would shore up Spain's leadership in a strategic sector by creating a new olive oil giant that would encompass a range of brands securing roughly 15% of the national consumption. Holy fuck. Alongside Italy and Greece, Spain is one of the world's leading producers of olive oil and global reference for prices. Price of precious commodity have swung dramatically from one season to the next, particularly as issues climate change, water, disease, blah, 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 blah. Don't have VODs. No viewers. And everybody leaves us too. You should write and record your own music then? Yeah. When the fuck am I? Yeah. I can barely speak English. I'm gonna write and record fucking music now? What am I, fucking Mozart? What? Are you smoking crack out there, Gravy? You think I can play music? Dude, my 2.5-year-old son plays the piano better than I do. Did you just want me to make noise and push buttons? What? You want me to write and make music? Then nobody would watch the stream. People would be like, well, I mean, nobody nobody already watches the stream anyway, so maybe you're fucking, maybe you're right. I always wanted to be a DJ. Maybe our night streams will be me playing around how to be a DJ. I think we're on to something. Oh my god. Brother, my dude. I'm gonna send it to the stock guy. Get to work for the day. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Gravy, for being here. My one viewer out there for the day. We will see you on the flip side. We got a couple the rest of this week on Thursday, Friday, and all of next week. So 7 days of streaming. Then I have to go to San Francisco for a bit. We will see you guys